Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Patrick here from All Things Mathematics, and moving on to the next question. Here we are asked what is the domain and range of this function here, y equals 3 minus ln bracket 5 minus 2x. And lots of times I like to put the constant at the end. So another way that this could have been written is like negative ln of 5 minus 2x plus 3, right? This positive 3 here we could put at the end, so both of these here are the same. Now, notice that this here is a transformation of the parent function ln x, right? So the parent function is y equals ln x, and we know that just in general that graph looks like this, right? It has a vertical asymptote at an x value of 0, right? So it's never crossing that, and it basically looks like this. So for any ln function, any log function in general, right? Ln is just a special case of log. It's like log base e. So for any log function, the range, notice that it's going to go from negative infinity to positive infinity, right? So we know that the range is going to be YER, or in interval notation goes from negative infinity to positive infinity, right? No matter how this parent function ln x is transformed, right? Whether it's reflected in certain axes or not, translated to the left, right, up or down, and stretched, compressed, whatever happens, the range is always going to be YER, right? Y is an element of real numbers. Y can be anything from negative infinity to positive infinity. However, the domain is a little bit more nuanced because it depends where the vertical asymptote is going to be. And then it also depends whether we're going to be on the right side of the vertical asymptote or the left side, whether it was reflected in the axis or not, the y-axis in particular. So the way you could figure out the domain for any log function or any ln function, if you ever have ln of an expression, or just in general log of any expression for any base, if you remember, that expression here within the brackets always has to be greater than 0, right? This is what you want to write down. This is how you always find the domain, right? Because you can't ln or log a 0, right? If you try to put ln of 0 in your calculator, it won't work, and you can't ln a negative or log a negative, right? So this expression, right, it always has to be, whatever's in that bracket, whatever you're taking the logarithm of, that always has to be positive. And so you could use this property to find the domain. Basically here, we know that this 5 minus 2x, that has to be greater than 0, which means 5 has to be greater than 2x. And then if you divide both sides by 2, it means that x has to be less than 5 over 2, like that, right? So writing it like this, x has to be less than 5 over 2, right? As long as x is less than 5 over 2, then 5 minus 2x is going to be positive, right? So for example, so x has to be less than 2.5. So for example, if we use like 3, for example, something that's not within that interval, well, if we plug in 3, we'll have 5 minus 2 times 3. That would be 5 minus 6, which will give us negative 1, right? And you can't ln negative 1, right? And it also can't be 2.5 or 5 over 2 exactly, right? Because if we plug in 2.5, we'll have 5 minus 2 times 2.5, which will give us 0. We can't ln 0. So it's not x is less than or equal to 5 over 2. X has to be less than 5 over 2. So that's what the domain would be. And then in interval notation, we would say basically it would be from negative infinity to 5 over 2. And it's not including the 5 over 2, so that would be a circle bracket like that, right? Or on a number line, it would basically be from 5 over 2, open dot, and then all the x values to the left of that, like that, right? Not including the 5 over 2, so that's an open dot. If it was including the 5 over 2, that would be a solid dot. this would be a square bracket, but it's not including that, right? So that would be the domain. So the range for a logarithmic function is always YER. The domain, you just take the expression within the bracket, and you have to find out when is that going to be greater than 0 for what x values, and then that ends up being your domain. Notice the -1, the +3, right? That doesn't matter. That doesn't affect the domain. It's always the expression within the logarithm that has to be positive.
And that is the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to find more videos like this, you can go to my website, allthingsmathematics.com. Over there, all my courses are organized for both high school and university. All the videos are organized by chapter. Also, if you have any questions, you can hit me up. My contact details are also on the website. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.